350 million. This is the number of photographs uploaded to just Facebook alone every single day. And this is according to a 2020 statistic by Omnicore's website entitled Facebook by the Numbers, Statistics, Demographics, and Fun Facts, monitored by Salam Aslam. Now, ever since the invention of the camera on the smartphone or the personal phone, society has been able to document at nearly every single second of their lives. Millions upon millions of photographs taken every single day. And me being a photographer for the military, I use a professional DSLR camera to document many, many, many events. But as I use my smartphone, I realized that there's actual advanced features that replicate my DSLR camera and made me ask, how many people actually know that there's advanced features on their smartphone that do this? Well, I'm going to talk about this very topic today. I'm going to discuss a little bit about what digital imagery is and how to actually use or get into your advanced features on your smartphone camera. Now, first, without going into too much detail, I'm just going to go touch a little bit about what digital imagery is. Digital imagery has replaced the mechanics of an SLR camera's 35mm film. Anybody remembers this? The 35mm film, you load it up in the back of the camera, you stuck it in there, and you advance forward and you take your picture. And you have to take it to get processed. And you process using chemicals onto photographic paper, and this took a long, long time to do, and it was very hard to actually manipulate the actual image. Digital processors now replace that and actually replicate this mechanics of an SLR camera, which makes taking a photograph a lot easier, and you don't have to use chemicals to process the image. Digital imaging has now made it possible to process and edit and transfer these images using computers. And this is all outlined by a 2012 book by Mary Marian entitled 100 Ideas That Have Changed Photography. And this has been published by Lawrence King. Now, learning how to process images using photographic paper and chemicals and everything takes hours and weeks to learn. It takes a very long, long time to learn. We're just going to go over the advanced features of your smartphone camera. And I'm going to be demonstrating to you on a Samsung S10 camera. Now, many, many different manufacturers use different ways to get into their advanced features. So you'd have to actually go into the manufacturer's manual to learn how to go into there. So onto mine, I actually open up my camera, and in here, I have a little advanced buttons right down in here, okay? And over here on the right, there's a more button. I click on the more button, brings up this menu here. And right here, I've got a Pro button right there. So I use the Pro button, I press the Pro button, and now I've got many different features down here that replicate my DSLR camera. First off, there's the zoom, okay, and then there's a focus right down in here, right over here. You can focus it. And you say, well, how come I can't use the automatic focus? Well, if you can look on here, you can see this little dots that are going around. That's because the automatic focus is always moving around trying to focus on things. And have you ever noticed your image actually goes out of focus? Well, you could just press on this manual focus over here, and you slide it over. On mine, you slide it over, and I can actually just focus on my actual image that I want to keep in focus without it going out of focus. The aperture is how bright or how dark an image actually is, and that's actually measured in f-stops, and it's got a little f that sits right there in front of it. There's an f right up in here. You look right there. Okay, and then everybody has that on there. That's how bright and how dark the images is. You can adjust that back and forth on there. I don't know if you can see that there. Okay. And over here, you also have a shutter speed, which measures in a ratio that looks like a fraction. And what that also does, it makes it look a little brighter and darker, but actually what it's doing is it's replicating the actual shutter, which actually shows how long an image has been exposed to the sensors on there. And what does that mean? Well, that actually helps when you have an image that's moving and how long it's been exposed. So the slower the shutter speed, the longer it stays open, the brighter the image. And not only that, but the longer it stays on, so you have an image that goes from here to here, it stays there, and actually stays, it'll blur that image. So if you have it faster, it'll only take the image from here to here, it'll look a lot sharper, and it keeps right there in focus. This is how you get the little blurring images on the highway, on those type of images. So over here, you have a white balance. And what that is that actually adjusts the color temperature of the light source. Okay, as you can go a little bit brighter or darker. Okay, depending on the light source in here, you can adjust that to the right color temperature. Over here, you have what's called the ISO. Oops. You have the ISO right here, and that measures the sensitivity or replicates the sensitivity of your camera or the film, of the old film. So the larger the number, the more sensitive it is to light. Okay, so that's better for a darker room. So, and it'll be a little bit brighter. It actually replicates that. It makes the film a little bit more sensitive. So the higher the number, the more sensitive, the brighter it is, and you can adjust all the other features on there. So we just touched on just the basics on using the advanced features, which is kind of funny to say. And as you can see, it's really a lot to learn. And I'd be more than willing to go over all this with you a little bit later on after this demonstration. But in conclusion, I went over digital imagery and how to get into your advanced features into your and use them in your smartphone camera. We've learned a little bit about traditionally what processing an image and how long it took and the chemicals it used. And DSLR cameras have now replaced the mechanics of the SLR camera and made it a lot easier to take care of the images. And the smartphone camera now replicates the DSLR camera, and you can use those features. Now, I would encourage anybody that has a smartphone to open up their phone and use the advanced features. I would love to see the type of images that you guys had come up with. So, thank you for listening and have fun.